Hello everyone, and welcome to Earth Archives. Have you noticed, why do adults nowadays seem more like children? They've received higher education, have stable careers, decent material conditions, yet a small setback can make them collapse, like 6-year-olds. What's going on here? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with anyone you think might need to see it.
Actually, there's a very deep social phenomenon behind this, and it's even more alarming than you might think. We've never had so many adults who appear mature on the outside, but lack the ability to truly take responsibility. Someone once said, a person can do what they want, but they can't want what they should want. In other words, our inner structure is subtly shaped over time, and today's society is systematically dismantling these structures, producing adults who look mature, but are psychologically immature.
Oh my, how does this happen? Aren't adults supposed to have life experience and know how to face reality?
Historically, the process of human maturity was very clear and very objective. At 15, young people had to take on productive roles in the family or community. By 20, most were able to live independently. This wasn't arbitrarily arranged, it was a survival necessity. Survival doesn't offer the option, wait until you're ready to mature. It's either mature or perish. But in the past 50 years, this natural law has been disrupted. We've extended education, delayed entry into the workforce, made marriage and family optional. The result: individuals can linger in a half-responsible state for 10 or 20 years. It may seem like freedom, but psychologically, it's complete stagnation.
So this is what people mean by an extended adolescence.
Exactly. For a mind that's never faced real challenges, extended adolescence seems very appealing. Experiments without consequences, burdens without responsibility, limits without commitment. Life seems free, but it's actually completely paralyzing. A 35-year-old still explores themselves, tests possibilities, and avoids commitment like a 20-year-old, when this stage should have ended 15 years earlier. Keeping all options open indefinitely may seem like choice, but in reality, nothing is truly chosen. This is psychological paralysis.
So this is what they mean by immature adults.
Exactly. And this immaturity isn't the innocent, endearing kind. It's a pathological phenomenon where adults appear mature on the outside, but remain psychologically in adolescence. They refuse to take true responsibility, see maturity, commitment, and limits as oppression, and repackage evasion of responsibility as freedom.
So what's causing this, really?
Let's start with technology and convenience. In the past 50 years, technology promised liberation, freeing us from toil and hardship. Running water, delivery services, instant communication, cross-time and space interaction. Life has become unprecedentedly convenient. But the psychological cost is enormous. Systematically removing life's obstacles also removes the conditions that build psychological resilience. Muscles weaken if unused, and so do psychological capacities. People who never face resistance never develop the ability to handle difficulties. This is why so many adults collapse at the first sign of challenge.
So we're actually educating an entire generation of psychologically fragile people.
Exactly. And this fragility is packaged as mental health or even trauma sensitivity. Any criticism is violence. Any discomfort is harm. Any demand to take responsibility is oppression. Adults start expecting the environment to accommodate their fragility, instead of learning to adapt to the world. The result? You appear free, but in reality, you're highly dependent on external systems and unable to shoulder true responsibility.
This is a vicious cycle.
Exactly. And the cycle is deep. Truly mature adults can operate in uncomfortable environments, bear sacrifice and limitations, and face uncontrollable realities. But when we remove these conditions and create an environment of absolute comfort, adults lose the ability to handle resistance, endure frustration, and delay gratification. This is why adult psychological collapse happens.
So what we see as forever young is actually a kind of psychological collapse.
Exactly. Outward vitality and a youth-imitating lifestyle cannot replace inner maturity, wisdom, and long-term perspective. True adult vitality comes from meaningful engagement and long-term responsibility, not frozen appearances or avoiding difficulty. Contemporary culture blurs the lines, equating superficial energy with maturity, packaging avoidance of responsibility as freedom, and elevating fragility into a moral high ground. The result: adults are physically grown, but psychologically stuck in adolescence, with neither youthful vitality nor mature wisdom.
Looking at it this way, we've lost not just maturity, but also the original meaning of each stage of life.
Exactly. Civilization functions because different ages take on different roles. The young explore, adults build. The elderly pass on knowledge. When everything becomes optional, when there's no unavoidable responsibility, you don't create free adults. You destroy the conditions for autonomous adult existence. True freedom isn't the absence of constraint. It's the ability to take on responsibilities beyond immediate self-interest, and to persevere even in the face of difficulty.
So maturity is a practice, not a gift.
Exactly. Maturity is a training process. Through every choice, commitment, and setback, you forge yourself into a true adult. Even if the world offers convenience and encourages half-maturity, you can still choose not to be tamed. Freedom begins with taking responsibility.
What kind of impact does this psychological immaturity have on our daily lives? Does this mean that our friends, colleagues, or even family might fail because of this phenomenon?
Yes, and the impact runs deeper than you might imagine. First, it makes adults resistant to commitment, responsibility, and even basic social interactions. They avoid family duties, shy away from long-term investment at work, and hesitate to endure challenges in relationships. This creates a strange effect. Adult social networks become increasingly fragmented, close relationships grow shallow, team efficiency declines, and long-term planning and stability in society are threatened.
But technology today is so convenient, shouldn't it make us more efficient and happier?
That's the paradox. Technology brings unprecedented convenience, but it also weakens the conditions that train our psychological capacities. In the past, every daily task carried some friction, from fetching water and farming to managing a household, forcing us to develop patience, discipline, and responsibility. Today, everything can be outsourced, optimized, or automated. Over time, our brain's ability to delay gratification, tolerate frustration, and sustain attention on difficult tasks declines. This isn't a cultural flaw or a problem of personal willpower. It's a systematic, structural change in the environment in which adults' minds develop.
So even our neural circuitry gets reshaped by this comfort culture.
Exactly. Neuroscience shows that long-term exposure to high-intensity, low-effort stimulation suppresses the development of the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for planning, impulse control, and focus. In other words, cognitive functions that should mature during adolescence and early adulthood are systematically regressing. Adults become like children, unable to delay gratification, easily drawn to instant pleasure, incapable of pursuing long-term goals, and completely intolerant of complex, monotonous, or difficult tasks.
Wow, so psychological dependency has essentially become a product of civilization.
Exactly. We've created a society where adults no longer face unavoidable challenges and limits, but avoidance is packaged as freedom, and psychological dependency is justified as a right. Social media, short videos, instant feedback, and reward systems are all designed to maximize attention, not to foster maturity. Your brain becomes systematically conditioned. Rewards are always abundant, so you always want more, while self-control, patience, and the capacity to take responsibility are gradually eroded.
So this isn't just an individual problem, it's a societal, even civilizational problem.
Exactly. The collapse of responsibility isn't random. It's the outcome of the intentional intersection of cultural, economic, and technological forces. Economically, adults without permanent responsibilities are ideal consumers. No family ties, no community obligations, free to move, constantly attracted by new stimuli. Freedom is redefined as unlimited choice, which in reality produces psychological paralysis. Adults drift in a semi-mature state, with lives lacking direction or depth, left only with surface-level pleasures and endless options.
So, what should we do? Is there no hope?
Actually, there is hope. The first step is to become aware of this phenomenon and understand that maturity doesn't happen automatically. It's the result of practice. Maturity requires choice, responsibility, sacrifice, and the willingness to face discomfort and setbacks. You can't rely on technology, convenience, or culture to complete this process for you. The second step is to intentionally create resistance and limitations in your daily life. For example, commit to a long-term relationship, a sustained work project, or a challenge that requires patience. These are exercises for your psychological muscles. The third step is to set long-term goals, practice delayed gratification, put immediate pleasures aside, and persist in completing what truly matters.
So, real freedom is found through taking responsibility, not by running away.
Exactly. Freedom isn't, I can change my mind anytime, avoid commitments, or chase pleasure. It's even when faced with difficulty, I can take responsibility, persevere, and accomplish things that go beyond short-term gains. Maturity is about facing reality with composure, acknowledging the limits of life, and choosing meaningful paths within those limits.
So, each of us can start practicing maturity, beginning with small daily decisions and gradually building strength.
Exactly. Today's discussion isn't just about highlighting a social phenomenon. It's a reminder. Maturity isn't optional. It's a skill you must practice. Don't wait for technology, your environment, or society to give you freedom. You must create it yourself. Start with small things, accept setbacks, take responsibility, face long-term goals. That is the true power of adulthood.
If you feel the power of these words, or if they touch something deep inside you, remember to like, subscribe, and share with anyone around you who needs to face reality. Maturity isn't optional, it's a life-essential lesson.
Exactly. True freedom and strength come from taking responsibility and confronting reality. Don't fear setbacks. Don't avoid commitments. Adult vitality isn't about freezing youth. It's about wisdom, perseverance, and a profound understanding of life. Share this message with friends and practice real maturity together.